Hello and welcome to another edition of Motorcars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on today's show, going to do a review of Season 24, the 2.0 version of the 2.0 version of the last go-around of Top Gear. Is that right, maybe? After the Clarkson May Hammond era, and then we had the Chris Evans era, and now I'm assuming we're rolling into the Matt LeBlanc era, maybe, if you will. I have to say that Season 24 was really good. I was really stunned at how good it was. In fact, it got me having this feeling, and bear with me, and at least listen to my explanation behind what I'm about to say, because a lot of you may be really upset. I may be hearing browsers closing, dislikes to the videos, and a lot of hate coming on in the comment section. But I really thought that Season 24 was better than Season 1 of the Grand Tour. And I know that's salacious, that's really a weird thing to say. Obviously, Clarkson, May, and Hammond have their own way of doing things, and that was one of the things that I was really kind of miffed about when the first season of the Grand Tour actually came out, because all they talked about, and you can look at all the archives that I have of every interview that I posted on the Motorcars Facebook page, all these guys kept talking about is this thing was going to be completely different than Top Gear, that being the Grand Tour. Albeit that's what we got, was a carbon copy of Top Gear. That they basically stole all the segments from that program. And you can make the argument, and it's well documented, that those three, along with Andy Willman, actually developed all of those properties. But once they sold them to the BBC, it no longer and ceased to be theirs. But all the segments inside of their program were basically thinly veiled old Top Gear segments. And that was something that really disappointed me, because I really thought we're going to see something drastically different. Now, really, if the Grand Tour wanted to do this as somewhat of a big middle finger up to the BBC, that was totally fine by me, but I wouldn't have gone on and on about how this deal was going to be blue sky, completely different, new, than what we actually got. Now, let's move on to Season 23 of Top Gear, the Chris Evans era. We basically got a carbon copy, albeit changes to the studio, obviously changes to the guests. There were some odds and ends, little changes, but it was still a carbon copy effort from the Clarkson May Hammond era. But now that we moved into this new era, this being the Matt LeBlanc, the Chris Harris, the Rory Reid, even Sabine Schmidt, and Eddie Jordan, I thought these guys really did a great job. And the reason why I thought it was better than the Season 1 of the Grand Tour was the fact that I had little to no expectations about what this show was going to be like. Because at the end of the Chris Evans era, those last couple episodes, it was really starting to feel its mojo. You thought that this group was starting to get together. But once you take one of the main players out, Lord knows what that could do to the franchise altogether. But I have to say, the Season 24, the first couple episodes, maybe a little sketchy. It was a little bit weird having the reasonably priced car segment, actually the star, actually stick around through several segments to actually get to see its lap run. And there was a lot less of an interview component when it came to that particular deal. But I have to say, after a while, it just flowed and it just worked. The whole thing just worked. It was clean. It was crisp. I thought they did a great job. Even the new host of Extra Gear, I thought that guy actually did a pretty good job, even though I wasn't as big a fan of him as I was of Rory Reid when he first became a part of the show. But after a while, I thought he did a fine job, and that's a nice segment inside of this franchise where you get to see some behind-the-scenes stuff. That's pretty doggone fun. So I think as an overview of what I look at as Season 24, I think it's in really good hands. And people in the future may really, really thank these three for getting through this segment, especially the Chris Evans, for getting out of that Clarkson May Hammond area, because I think that Top Gear as a franchise will continue as long as the BBC is still in existence. Much like the Doctor Who. How many Doctor Who's are they on now? Isn't it like number 1,000 or something like that? Yeah, the BBC is going to continue to churn out these shows no matter how long Reid, Harris, and LeBlanc actually want to continue to do these programs. They'll find new hosts for this program, and it'll head on in the future. And it'll be a lot easier for these folks unless these three actually lay down a course of action, much like the Clarkson May Hammond era actually was, even though I find that hard to believe that will end up happening. But I have to say, overall, I thought Season 24 was amazing. It really was a good show. It really worked well. It was filmed well. The good pacing. Had some albeit weirdo spots in it that you kind of got used to a little bit quickly. Much like the Grand Tour, other than the continued running jokes that some of the things did. They just kind of drug on me after a little while. But I have to say, I'm really looking forward to the new season of the Grand Tour. That could be coming up very, very soon. Obviously, looking very forward to the new Matt LeBlanc era of Top Gear that could be heading up maybe late this year. We'll have to wait and see. That may come out in the early part of 2018 as well. So, 2 big thumbs up for this particular program. If you haven't got to see the new episodes of Top Gear, you ought to check them out. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motorcars Enthusiast. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. Links down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.